Paperwork and end-of-day checklist. Now that we have reviewed the previous steps, let's walk through how to complete your paperwork and the end-of-day checklist. Step 1. Before starting the paperwork, confirm the last voter has scanned their ballot in the DS200 scanner. Once this is verified, you must count all unvoted or unused regular paper ballots and the express vote ballot activation cards. First, count the open ballot packs or individual ballots of each type. Then count the number of unopened ballot packs of each type. Then multiply it by 50 for regular paper ballots and 250 for express vote activation cards. Enter the totals on line F on all 4 copies of the general return sheet. Step 2. This next step must be completed before the equipment team is permitted to open the DS200 ballot box door 4A. First, place all of the unvoted ballots in the purple unvoted ballot transfer bag. This is the same ballot bag that was in the ballot box of the DS200 scanner before the polls were opened. Seal the purple unvoted ballot return bag with a numbered zip tie seal from the orange pouch. Bring the sealed purple unvoted ballot transfer bag containing the unvoted ballots over to the equipment team. Lastly, record the seal number on the second line of Part 3 of Ballot Chain of Custody log, which the equipment team will have. Step 3. Next, you will complete provisional ballot return envelope. The voted provisional ballot envelopes are not to be opened at the polling place. All voted provisional ballot envelopes are to remain sealed until opened by officials or employees of the County Board of Elections, who will determine the validity of each provisional ballot. To get started, record the total number of voted provisional ballots on line C on all 4 copies of the general return sheet. Then, place all voted sealed provisional ballot envelopes into the larger bright green provisional ballot return envelope. You will then record the total number of voted provisional ballots on the form on the front of the provisional ballot return envelope. Even if no provisional ballots were used, you must write the word none on the front of the provisional ballot return envelope. Both the judge of election and the minority inspector must sign the form on the front of the provisional ballot return envelope. Once signed, place it in the regional returns bag, which the judge of elections will take with them to the regional reporting location. Next, at the bottom of the K precinct return envelope, record the number of provisional ballots issued. Place all unvoted or unused provisional balloting materials in the supply suitcase. Step 4. Place surrendered absentee mail-in ballots along with any completed and signed electors' declaration to surrender their mail ballot forms in the surrendered absentee mail-in ballot envelope. Keep this in a safe place on your check-in table or in the supply suitcase. The judge of election should sign this envelope and record the number of surrendered ballots contained within it. This envelope should be placed in the regional return bag. Do not place this envelope in your suitcase. The number of recorded surrendered ballots should also be recorded on line E on all 4 copies of the general return sheet. Step 5. Spoiled ballots are ballots where the voter has made a mistake and needs a new ballot. These ballots must be forfeited to a poll worker before a replacement ballot can be issued. In addition, some voters may decide to not vote after having been issued a ballot and may have left their ballots in the polling place without returning them to the poll workers. You should periodically conduct a visual check throughout the polling place to determine if any abandoned ballots can be found. These ballots are to be kept in the spoiled ballot envelope behind the voter check-in table throughout the day. The judge of election should sign this envelope and record the number of spoiled ballots contained within it. This envelope should be placed in the regional returns bag and returned to the regional reporting location. Do not place this envelope in your suitcase. The number of recorded spoiled ballots should also be recorded on line F on all 4 copies of the general return sheet. Step 6. For this next step, you will count any unscanned voted ballots. This procedure is to be used only if there are any unscanned ballots in the DS200 emergency ballot box, door 3A, that the judge of election is unable to scan because the DS200 is malfunctioning and has not been replaced by the leadman for the precinct. If there are any unscanned ballots in the DS200 emergency ballot box, enter the number of ballots in the explanation section of all 4 copies of the general return sheet. Then, place the unscanned voted ballots in the K precinct return envelope. Step 7. After completing Step 6, inspect, sign, and distribute final results tapes. To do this, you will separate the final results tapes, which prints on one continuous tape, by cutting each segment just below the last signature line. The first segment printed will be preceded by the ballot status activity report. The last segment printed will have the write-in review report at the end. All 5 election board members must sign all 4 tapes. The final results tape contains specific information and must be distributed as follows. Place the final results tape with the attached ballot status activity report into the orange pouch. Post the tape with the write-in review report attached at the outside entrance to the polling place, where a member of the public can see it without accessing the polling place. Place one of the remaining 2 final results tapes into the K precinct return envelope, and the other into envelope B for the minority inspector. Step 8. Next, you will complete the general return sheets, which includes 4 sheets to be filled in with identical information and signed by all election board members. Any appointed overseers present after the close of the polls are also required to sign all 4 general return sheets. First, enter the total number of voters from the numbered list of voters on line A. Then, enter the number of ballots scanned by machine from final results tapes on line B. After that, enter the number of voted provisional ballots on line C. Next, enter the number of unvoted ballots and ballot activation cards prior to poll opening on line D. This number should have been entered prior to the opening of the polls. Next, enter the number of spoiled ballots on line E. Now, enter the number of unused, unvoted ballots on line F. It's important to make sure that all board members print and sign their names on all 4 copies. Phone numbers must be on 3 of the 4 copies. The copy being posted at the polling place entrance does not need to include their phone number. Finally, post one general return sheet without phone numbers at the outside entrance to the polling place. Place 2 general return sheets in the K precinct return envelope, and place 1 general return sheet in envelope B for the minority inspector. Step 9. Using the checklist on the envelope, verify that the K precinct return envelope contains the following items: 2 general return sheets, 1 final results tape, 1 zero tape, 1 numbered list of voters booklet, 1 election officer's oath form, all affidavits of voters, unscanned voted ballots if any. After confirming the K precinct return envelope contains the aforementioned items, seal the K precinct return envelope with a sticker seal from the orange pouch. Then, note the seal number on Part 3 of the ballot's chain of custody log. Place these items in the regional returns bag. Step 10. Complete both chain of custody logs. Please note, the equipment team will have loaded the voted ballots from the ballot box into the yellow voted ballot return bag. Retrieve the orange pouch from the equipment team and ensure that the following items are enclosed: the lanyard with keys, 2 flash drives for each DS200, signed final results tape, 1 for each DS200, and the password election code envelope. Then, remove a numbered zip tie seal from the orange pouch, seal the orange pouch, and record the seal number on the equipment chain of custody log. The judge of elections and another poll worker then sign and date the equipment chain of custody log. Place the completed equipment chain of custody log on one of the clipboards. After that, enter the number of yellow voted ballot return bags on Part 3 of the ballot's chain of custody log. Usually there will be 1 yellow bag, except in large precincts with higher voter turnout. The equipment team will have sealed the yellow voted ballot return bag with zip tie seal. Note the seal number on Part 3 of the ballot's chain of custody log. The unvoted ballots return bag seal number and the K precinct return envelope seal number should already have been noted on the ballot's chain of custody log. Lastly, the judge of election and another poll worker must sign and date the ballot's chain of custody log and place the completed ballot's chain of custody log on the same clipboard as the equipment chain of custody log. Place the clipboard with the 2 completed chain of custody logs into the regional returns bag. Step 11. Next, you will complete the B minority inspector envelope. Using the checklist on the envelope, verify that the B minority inspector envelope contains all of the following items: 1 general return sheet, 1 final results tape from each DS200, 1 numbered list of voters booklet, and 1 election officer's oath form. The minority inspector will take this envelope home and keep it for 1 year. Step 12. Now you will complete the election officer and constable pay sheets. All election officers must sign the pay sheet and mark which position they worked, either judge or inspector clerk. If the names are pre-printed on the pay sheet, enter the last 4 digits of their Social Security number and sign. Any address or phone number corrections should be made on this form to ensure that the paycheck will reach the election officer in a timely fashion. If the names are not pre-printed, complete all of their information, including all 9 digits of their Social Security number and signature. The judge of elections will sign the constable's pay sheet if there was a constable present who was not shared with another polling place in that location. Then, place all pay sheets, including constable pay sheet, in the pay sheet envelope. Step 13. For the last step, you will finish packing the suitcase and pack the regional returns bag. The paperwork team will have already loaded the poll book and unused supplies into the bottom of the suitcase. After that, place the yellow sealed voted ballots transfer bag on top of the contents already loaded and close the suitcase. And lastly, place the orange pouch sealed, the ballot chain of custody log and equipment chain of custody log on clipboard, the K precinct return envelope sealed, the surrendered absentee mail-in envelope, the spoiled ballot envelope, the provisional ballot return envelope, and pay envelope in the regional returns bag. Now that you have closed down the polling place and completed your paperwork, you will complete the end-of-day checklist. Read through the checklist and make sure you have completed each step and ensure all required items are in the regional returns bag. Once paperwork and other materials have been distributed according to the list, make sure the equipment has been sealed and returned to the location where it was found in the morning. When all items are packed and accounted for, the polling place should be closed and locked. If locking requires the assistance of a building manager, election officers should secure the necessary assistance and observe the locking of the polling place. The judge of election then goes directly to the designated regional return center with the regional returns bag and the supply suitcase. The regional return centers close at midnight. After that hour, the judge of election must take returns to the elections warehouse. Thank you for participating and following along. To ensure your training is complete, please visit alleghenycounty.us/electionworkers to complete the form. We will look forward to seeing you soon. At the Elections Division, we appreciate the time and attention you give to this important process, producing an election in your community. While the information presented may seem like a lot, please be assured that your election officer handbook is there to back you up. When you follow it step by step, it will guide you through these procedures with confidence and ease. In addition, there are designated phone numbers listed in the front of the handbook to connect you to someone who can offer help. You can confer with your fellow poll workers in your precinct and others in your building, and you can talk with your polling place coordinator. Thank you again for stepping up on Election Day. We cannot do it without you.